Okay, I think we are ready for Alex. So you can put down, I remember Clifford. Thank you. And here we are for our next and last presentation before the lunch break and before we start again at 2 o'clock. And I have the immense pleasure to present to the stage Alexandria DeWalt. And I'm going to read a little bit about Alexandria. Alexandria DeWalt, born and raised in Houston, Texas, is a vocalist and flautist. She credits her two older brothers and grandmother as having the greatest influence on her, both personally and professionally. Alexandria completed her bachelor's degree at the University of Miami, my alma mater as well, and has performed at the Grammy Awards and at the Essence Festival with artists such as Solange, Al Jarreau, and Jason Moran. And we welcome as part of our panel your advisor is Nadia Washington again, and also we welcome Hannah Hall for being with us. Please welcome Alexandria DeWalt.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. I know it's been a long day. The title of my project is Notes of Houston's Daughters, Narratives of BIPOC Women Artists and Their Contributions to the Houston Arts Community. This project will pay homage to three BIPOC women artists of Texas, Eileen J. Morris, Helen Sung, and Lauren Anderson. Why did I do this project? I believe the arts is littered with patriarchy, so the goal of this project is to actively work against this narrative. It's reacquainting people with the importance of these women. When I first was in Houston and growing up, these are some of the people that people tend to associate Houston with. Justin Simeon, Robert Glasper, Dennis Quaid, Harper Waters, and of course, Patrick Swayze. Texas is known for hosting some of America's most brilliant artists, but somehow BIPOC women are left out of this narrative. Except Beyonce, because it's Beyonce. But I want to put BIPOC women back into the narrative through music. My second why is because of this little girl. Growing up, I realized all of my mentors and artists I looked up to were all men. I did not have someone that looked like me to mentor me, to help guide me through the patriarchal maze of jazz. I had so many questions going through my head. Who could I ask? What is it like being the only one? What is it like being a BIPOC woman artist in the South? Tokenism, how to navigate that? My hope is that by honoring these women, other women feel validated in the space they deserve to take up, especially the little ones. Before continuing, I should figure out a different way to do this. Before continuing, I felt it is necessary to recognize these men. These women have deemed their mentors and are pillars in the Houston arts community. We have Bob Doc Morgan, who mentored Helen Sung. We have George Hawkins, who mentored Eileen J. Morris. We have Conrad O. Johnson and Bubba Thomas, who mentored me. And we have Ben Stevenson, who mentored Lauren Anderson. The first person I wanted to pay homage to is Eileen J. Morris. Although she's originally from Chicago, Houston has been her home for over 40 years now. She is the artistic director of Houston's Ensemble Theater, one of the largest professional African-American theaters in the South. Although she's primarily an artistic director, she also performs, directs, and produces many of the shows at the ensemble. Here, she is dedicated to producing works portraying the African-American experience written by a plethora of playwrights, namely August Wilson. I first met Miss Eileen at the Ensemble's Young Performers Program, a summer camp for children 6 to 17 years old. The alumni from this program is impeccable, including Beyonce, Solange, Justin Simeon, Ashley Davis, and many others. When I first went to the ensemble, I was so scared. I could not get away from my mom. I was so scared that they nicknamed me Stomachache because every time I went to camp, I was like, oh no, I have a stomachache. And they're like, no, Alex, that's not true. But Miss Eileen, she did this thing where she gave me fake medicine. And she just made me feel very welcomed into in a place that I didn't know that I deserved to take up, especially my first time being around so many Black young people. So Eileen has cultivated many young minds and has ignited their love for both music and the theater. So for Eileen, I wrote the tune, Thank You, Eileen. I wanted it to be an experience first theatrically and some of the feelings that I felt when I first went into the ensemble and the energy that it hosts. So I wrote a monologue that details some of my first experiences with my Miss Eileen. In the beginning, it uses a motif from the beginning of the tune Home from The Wiz, which is the first production that I did at the summer camp. And then later in the piece, it brings back the lyrics of the tune. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing, which is what I believe the ensemble theater and what Miss Eileen has given to the ensemble theater. Miss Eileen gave us young Black artists a home in a theater that celebrates our history, our ancestry, and our music. Of the theater. My stomach leaped into my throat each day I returned. I had never been around such unapologetic blackness. Here is where love knew no boundaries. Is where I found a home in my body, a home in my voice. This little girl can finally dream. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you. So this next person is Miss Helen Sung. I like to call her the OG of the Houston lineage of pianists, OG meaning original gangster. That includes Jason Moran, Robert Glasper, James Francis, just to name a few. But somehow she is rarely talked about in the halls of our alma mater, the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts. The moment I met Helen when I was in the 4th grade attempting to play a blues, I could immediately feel the empathy that is in her playing. Wow, a woman playing music like this, I was like, holy smokes. Helen's story inspires me, having started jazz later in her later years, then being in the inaugural class at the then Monk Institute, moving to New York and dealing with sexism and racism, to not having full support of her family when choosing to do music as her career, and then doing it anyways. It is hard to make it into the Houston Jazz Boys Club, but she has shown me that you don't have to. You can choose to blaze your own paths within this weird jazz space. Helen's ability to continuously navigate and explore the marriage between different art mediums inspires me so much. So for her, I wrote Allow Me, which is inspired by her album, Sung with Words, which explores the relationship between music and poetry. This poem is written by Korean-American Jungmi Kim and talks about giving yourself the permission to dream your wildest dreams. And while pursuing this, do it with love to yourself and love to others. And of course, there had to be a country tinge. We are Texas women.
If I must worry about how I will live in my old age without wealth, how can I live? I would be without health now. I would be without dreams. How can I live? How can I go on? Allow me to sit in the sun and listen to the sky. Allow me to stay in my room and weave my rainbows, strolling by my door. I'll be waiting to be with you then. I will love you gently. I will love you truly. I will love you gently. I will love you truly.
This next person is kind of really crazy. She's Lauren Anderson. She's the first Black principal ballerina of the Houston Ballet, and she's a native Houstonian who still lives in Houston and continues to inspire and teach young people every day. Me and Lauren have like a really weird story. So like my mom actually was teaching like etiquette school, and Lauren was one of the first girls. And so it's really this full circle story that I am my mother's daughter, and Lauren is able to teach me in ways that I didn't even know that I needed to be taught. At a young age, Lauren and her dad went to New York to see the Harlem Dance Theater, which is where her love for ballet started. Once she saw someone that looked like her doing what she loved to do, then she knew that she could do it as well. Although she doesn't dance professionally anymore, she has found her passion in bringing arts to her community. She sets the stage for many Black ballerinas to come after her, including Harper Waters, Misty Copeland, Courtney Jones, just to name a few. She dealt with the pressures of being a minority woman and having to be better than her peers, and also the pressures of the perfectionistic values of the ballet world. From Lauren, I learned that you are never alone, that there will always be turmoil and uncertainty, but in the end, you will find your balance. For Lauren, I improvised a solo flute piece to an excerpt of her dancing to the Sugar Plum Fairy to represent that she may appear perfect, but within she is struggling with all the anxieties within the world. It then releases into a tune that was inspired by Tasha Cobb's You Know My Name. Y'all know I can't avoid Jesus. But in Tasha Cobb's You Know My Name, it talks about God knowing you from wherever you are. He knows what's in your heart, and that you just have to trust and know that He'll be there. So I related this with Lauren, is that when you feel that you have found your calling, I know that she feels that she has found her calling and she has solidified who she is. So the last story is mine, but I'm still figuring that out. It's somewhere along the lines of a classically trained flutist who had to play saxophone to be in jazz band, who then played jazz flute, kinda, then decided to sing at 16. A girl who had to deal with being, in most cases, the only one or one of two that looked like her. These feelings of isolation, not being good enough, the people getting the opportunities did not look or sound like her. It has been a journey and purpose in letting go and stepping into your light. I wrote this song to remind my inner child that I'm surrounded by love and to express my gratitude to the strong women that have been influential in my life. Here's Little One.
Little black girl, you are enough. Although you may not look like them, sound like them, give yourself a chance. You deserve this. So hold your head up high. Just hold your head up high. black girl, it'll get easier. I was you and I'm still here.
So, thank you. My conclusion. I firmly believe that representation is a remedy to this problem. The more women that are given the platform, the more women they will be able to inspire. The more we start putting these women's names in our vocabulary, it will pique other women's interests in getting involved in the arts. This project will show how, although being a BIPOC woman artist feels lonely, we are not alone. We have a community. It can spark confidence and creativity within oneself to continue the journey. And then thank yous. First, thank my family. They're the best. They're here, like right there. Musicians and engineers, thank you so much. I can't believe my music sounds like this. Y'all made my dreams come true. To my committee, Nadia Washington, thank you so much. And to Hannah O, thank you. Dr. Charlie Christensen and Peter Eldridge, Danilo Perez, Marco Pignataro, and all of the BGJI faculty and staff. And then my BGJI family, y'all are the best. You know who you are, my friends. I love y'all. Thank you.
Congratulations, Alex. Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Loud enough? Okay, we're going to start the second portion of the presentation. And we have our guest, Hannah, also. I'm going to immediately give the microphone to you.
Yeah, wow, Alex. I'm pretty emotional right now. You know, this was just, it was like, you know, watching magic, you know, seeing how your personal journey unfolded and you taking us this journey. And this whole idea of, I think, representation and celebrating these overlooked women from within your community, I think is just so valuable. And I really resonated with me like that. I think that's also kind of why I'm feeling this right now. You know, as someone from like an Asian New Zealand like background, being that minority, and yeah, it really hit me. And I think, you know, your story, it has the like potential to like touch others and, you know, to really celebrate what is like long overdue, to be honest. And so I would love to know like, oh, and I also want to mention that this whole idea of you kind of turning to not just yourself within, but to the others like from within your community, and for the like people who really did make an influence. I think the idea of it speaks to your passion for education, you know, which I know is something you feel so strongly about. And so, yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on like the expansion of this and like how to continue it for perhaps others in the community and those who would you know, be as touched by this as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Hannah. My long-term plan is to create like a camp in Houston that's specifically for BIPOC women artists, and it's not just for music, but it would be a multidisciplinary camp where each child or girl is paired with a mentor from within the community, and then at the end of the camp, hopefully come up with a cool, fun, multidisciplinary project, and within that, figure out that they do have a community, that they aren't the only one doing what they're doing, and so they're paired with like a mentor, and then they have friends that can also help them out in the end, which I think would just help build up what's happening in Houston.
That's amazing. Thank you, Alex. Okay, huge congrats as well.
Nadia, do you want to?
Nadia.
Congratulations. Congratulations. This has been a very touching experience, seeing you work through your process, finding how to compose and capture these women. And I think you did it eloquently, and most importantly, the question, of course, that we discussed in our meetings is, how do these women affect you, you know? And so my next, of course, comment that I want to reiterate is that because these women are in your life, strong women are in your life, don't forget that they are a part of you and you can access them because of what they've imparted into you. Not feeling separate from them, like, oh, they're doing this and that and the other and I'm here. No, you are connected. They've imparted in you. And as you grow, you're going to see how these women, energy they've placed in you is going to manifest out in your own, you know, using your unique prism. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes. And don't forget about that. Don't forget, and you know, as also another comment with your music, I love the Texas flavor, the folklore in your music, and I just can't wait for you to see how that unfolds. Texarkana, right? You know, I'm from Dallas, so I feel it. I know, and I think that's a really lovely flavor to bring to the jazz world, the community. It doesn't even have to be just the jazz world, but your sound, it's lovely and it's needed, and you know, stand in it and represent. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. I have one other question for you. Your music process, your writing. Can you maybe talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, you know, for Eileen's tune, that was hard for me because I literally just wanted to do like a cover of Home because that's what I felt most comfortable with. And so for that tune, it was mostly like us workshopping, me and Nadia workshopping together along with like the ensemble that was in, like figuring out, okay, maybe I don't need to do this, but maybe we can use just the beginning of that tune just to like get us into that same atmosphere of what that tune means. And then what happened when I felt, you know, walking into the ensemble, like navigating those feelings, and navigating the freedom of what the ensemble was able to offer, and Miss Eileen was able to offer. So I think that was that process, just like really workshopping with you. I didn't have like a clear idea, so workshopping with you and understanding what I can do more, like not just like actual like words, but like feelings that I got from that and like how I feel about it now. And then the monologue came just because I wanted to add that second layer of this is not just a musical thing, this is like marriage between theater and music. Specifically jazz music. I feel like the theater and jazz music is kind of lost besides like Ain't Misbehavin' or something like that. So marrying those things back together. For Helen, that was really easy. Like Peter Eldridge gave me, I was like, hey, I want to do that. I love Sung with Words. Like that's one of my favorite albums. He's like, okay, so like just write using a poem, Alex. I was like, oh yeah. And then he was like, he gave me a specific assignment. He was like, you have to write greater than a perfect fifth in the verse and greater than a major or minor sixth in the chorus. So that's what I tried to do with that tune. And in navigating how I could take the poem and not replicate it exactly, but make it into a thing that more people can understand, so it's not so abstract anymore. It's something that people can grasp onto. And then with Lauren's tune, we already talked about that, like dealing with anxiety while also dealing with the pressures of being a perfect or presenting yourself to be perfect. So we thought of this cool idea of taking, and I wanted to do something with flute because that's one of my first loves. So and classical flute at that. So doing something in that genre, reign, and then the last tune kind of just came to me because You Know My Name is such a good song. And I was like, I want to write a song that makes me feel like that. And Lauren made me feel like that. And so many women around me made me feel like that and exude those mood that I was feeling. and little one is just a little lullaby to myself. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Alexandria. Okay, let's see, Alex. Are you playing flute in every song?
No, that was Kenthony. But I wanted I wanted flute in there because like it's my love as well. So
Okay, so I have a couple of questions from you. I'm trying to kind of word it in my mind. But first, regarding the music that I heard, I feel, there's a lot of gratitude in your project, right? It's really a big thank you to women that have been showing you the way, in a way, right? And so it feels like you took this year to look back and truly kind of solidify this feeling. And I think I heard throughout all the song this feeling, and I think that's very consistent, and I felt it. So that's a very beautiful way for me to see what you were working on and see the consistency in terms of your artistic, purpose. I wonder, after a year of global program and all of the experience you have with all the, the students bringing, music sometimes extremely far away from your roots, is this gonna leave a mark in you? Is something that you're open to explore in your future in your own music?
I think so, yes. Because I think before coming here, I don't think I really understood like comprovisation or something, like those types of concepts. And I think, especially with the Eileen student, I was trying to explore that concept as well, being more open to those ideas, and even delving deeper into Texas culture, which is not just like Black people. We're right next to Mexico. It's indigenous people, Native Americans. It's Creole culture. It's all of these things that I feel like we can bring in. Like just those alone have other histories of its own that I can also explore and bring into the music. And I think Global has allowed me the opportunity to explore with other people and understand their processes. So I know what questions to ask. I know what to look for, what to listen for whenever I go into that situation when I'm doing more research.
Great, because that would be my first suggestion. I feel you're so incredibly talented as a singer and as an artist, and I feel like I hope that will be reflected in your music, because I think it could really also be something that can bring your research and music forward with different lenses, right? Because
Right.
you have that now. You have an experience that probably before you did not. Now, going back to the topic of your presentation, it's so much about mentorship, very specific kind of mentorship. And you're such I got to work with you, and I saw how a gifted educator you are, and you probably will be. I just wonder now, after a year of reflection about this, what kind of mentor you want to be for others? You talk so much about what these women did for you, and I wonder, when you see yourself in the future, like you said, what kind of mentor you want to be?
That's a good question. I think, well, first I have to be in the space. Like sometimes mentorship can just look like, I see, oh, Alex is teaching at this school. Oh, I can do that too. Sometimes it's just existing in that space. But then there are other ways of mentorship where you can actually take on it, like not take on a student, but you gravitate. I think it's like a gravity thing. Like I think you tend to gravitate towards your mentors, and they tend to gravitate toward you. And I think it's being very hands-on. When opportunities come along, you want them to have it. So you're like, hey, I have this thing, but I think you should do it. Or if they're working on like their sound as an artist, like really being there step by step of the way. But yeah, I think the mentorship can look so many different ways. It can be just existing in that space and representing. I don't want to represent all, people who look like me, but I am a representation of that, and they can see, okay, she's existing in that space. Maybe I can too. And then the other half is like actually cultivating a serious relationship with whomever that you would like to mentor.
Yeah, remember that, like Danilo likes to say this many times, the mentoree choose the mentor. So don't forget that. That's very important. All of you chose who your mentor are. So that's something that, as a mentor to be, you want to be very aware as well. But congratulations, Alex. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Alex, I have beautiful memories of the time I met you at Newport with your flute and going for and da-da-da-da, I really, really enjoyed the presentation, and I hear what you say. When we think of Houston or part of North America, we have to realize that sometimes, to me, it feels like the north of Latin America. The south of the United States is the north of Latin America. So we have so much in common, and I hope that this year has found those connections for you and continue in this path. I told you played me that song. And you said, you presented to me like, oh, this is not jazz. And I will encourage you to take those terms away because you are who you are. And I just want to remind you of this. Straight up, right? Straight up. Look at yourself in the mirror and read this quote of Maya Angelou that says, if you keep trying to be normal, you might miss in how amazing you are. That's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Hey, you are amazing, Alex. Please clap again for Alex. All right. All right, we'll take a little break for lunch. We'll see you back at 2. Thank you so much.